Hey, Simone. Welcome to this very first podcast of the new year. Very first talk in the new year I have in my series here, where we talk about enlivenment and roots. And I think it's wonderful that we meet today after these silent nights, where a lot of people, I hope, had the chance to reflect and go into silence or in inner dreams process. And I think it's going to be very exciting what we explore. I mean, we are going to talk about your course, Free, Fierce. No, not fierce, but free and feminine. But I always bring the word fierce in because I think nowadays it's important we learn also to be in great clarity. And you are a woman. I want to talk especially about these topics today, and then also invite all the listeners for this great course coming up at Parallax with you to learn more on the embodiment of self-leadership and leadership in the world. But Simone, let me start this conversation with a question about your profession. I know you had various processes during your life in business life and so on. We will get to that in a minute. But being a shaman in a time of such crisis and being in modern times, how would you describe the duty or the gift that you embody in everyday life, being a shaman at that time, at that day, in this year? And as a shaman also, what do you think is most needed going into this new year? And tell us a little bit about how your days look like, because I'm really, really fascinated that such a woman in so much intellectual strengths and professional strengths has the opportunity now to speak about also being a shaman in this moment in time. So I'm addressing you as this part of Wisdom Keeper, Simone, and welcome. And I look forward to hearing your voice.
Thank you so much first, Cordula, from my heart for being invited to talk to you today. Coming to your question, what is being a shaman? It is a great gift and at the same time also a great honor and also I would say a great responsibility. So what does it mean and how do you become a shaman at all in these ages where or during which artificial intelligence is penetrating our world all the more and at speed, which is just incredible. So to come back to this question, what does it mean to be a shaman? Well, first, how do you at all become a shaman? There would be different answers, and I'd like to provide you the one which comes first to my mind. I had no clue that I was one, but it was revealed to me actually by a shaman from Peru, to whom I had asked a question which had no relationship at all to shamanism, or even I would say at a certain point to myself, because I contacted him regarding a very difficult situation I was experiencing in a company. And he listened to me. He simply said to me, okay, I have to look. In other words, now I speak this language as well. I have to read, and I will get back to you later in the evening. It was already late when I called him. So at 11 at night, I had still no answer from him. I was wondering, am I going to get an answer from this gentleman? But he did call. And he said three sentences to me, which I will never forget because they were at, let's say, at the start of something beautiful happening then in my life. And he said this to me: you have always been a shaman. One day you will be a great shaman. It's only a question of time. So right after that, I knew now it's about time to take my first shamanic course. And there I embarked on this journey. And indeed, Cordula, already during the first shamanic training, the person leading this seminar, he was explaining how we were to find out in the body of someone what is her or his issue. In that case, it was a lady. But he was still explaining the process I already knew, because being something was triggered into my body. I look at this shoulder because it was a problem in her shoulder, and I knew. So little by little, I came to realize, yes, indeed, this knowledge is already within my body. It has triggered many, many different thoughts. And no later than this week, I had this thought: if you love something in your life, I mean, now an activity like reading or painting, in my opinion, it is because in your previous life, you have already experienced this. So the energy of your body reconnect with those energies of the past. And when they reconnect, they resonate also, and you experience again these emotions of being fully alive, of being true to yourself, of going back to your totality. And now I use this expression on purpose, because this is what we use as an expression when someone decides to explore who she is or who he is completely. I mean, this is speaking about a very, very deep introspection. It is not a question of taking a couple of sessions, and I am not being here impolite at all, because I have huge respect. But it is not speaking about experiencing, let's say, a speed psychotherapy, which are existing today. It is going much deeper than this. So what is being a shaman? A shaman is someone who has these abilities to travel in every reality. So we are now, you and me and everybody, in this so-called material reality. But there are many other realities. And the great field which is surrounding us, which now in science is also being called the quantum field. But from the shamanic perspective, it is called, these realities are called differently. There are the so-called unending realities, non-material realities, and in between the material reality and the unending realities, you have the so-called dreaming realities, the dreaming reality, which is connecting both. So a shaman has the ability to travel in those realities. And how can you do this? You do this with your awareness. So if you want to know who you truly are, I was mentioning this word introspection, deep introspection. If you truly want to know who you truly are as a human being, you start with awareness. So you get out of this 3D life you have, you travel in all those dimensions and you see them, you experience them. And then it becomes your own truth.
So when
Then
you travel there, just a little side question. I have a lot of questions, but how do I have to imagine? Is that like I would imagine? Is it a drum guiding me? If I'm not experienced, I will need guidance from someone who has already experience about this kinds of. Let's say, how do I pack my bag and embark for the travel? What is needed?
it depends on the different traditions, but nevertheless, because there are differences on how you can travel, how you can dream, how you dream. So I'd like to explain to you what I experienced first in the very first shamanic seminar I took. And now I am going, and then I am going to explain further. But in these traditions, and Michael Harner has written a lot about those traditions, which are mostly in South America, Central America, and North America. We say that there are three different kind of worlds: the upper world, the middle world, and the world of the bottom, underworld. So yes, we enter into those worlds, or into those different uh, dimensions. We work with the drum. Why the drum? Because the sound of the drum has the consequence to change your brain frequencies. And you enter immediately after the very first drumming into a so-called altered state of mind. Mm-hmm. So you enter in this dream reality. So your brain waves will change. They move from beta to alpha. And there you have certain visions, to put it that way. But that's only one thing. Before you at all enter into one of those dimensions, you first define a clear intention. So the first intention we had for this very first seminar was to encounter our animal totem. So the process goes like this. The person starts drumming, you lie down, you put something on your eyes so that you have no light at all. And then you imagine yourself that you go down into the earth, for example, along the roots of a tree. And at a certain point, you may have a being, someone, it can be a guide, and this person or this entity will ask you, what are you doing here? He's or she's a gatekeeper. And then you simply introduce yourself and you say, well, I am going down now, and now we are going down into the earth to encounter our animal totem. All the animal totem are within the earth. You introduce yourself, you greet, introduce yourself, and then you tell, okay, I am on my quest to encounter my animal totem. Am I allowed to continue? Sometimes you can get a no, but most of the time you get a yes. And then you will have this animal totem. It is said that this animal totem has to show himself to you from three different facets. It does not always happen like this, but it happens very often. So that was the content in brackets of this very first seminar. This is how you meet an animal totem. This is one way. And what I am describing here, if I now speak of the whole, let's say, shamanic path you can embark on, I am speaking here about the first phase of this whole shamanic path, which is working with awareness and perception. And to enter into the dream reality, you work with awareness and perception. This is the very first phase. And most of the shamanic traditions keep working in this dream reality with awareness and perception. If you want to go further, and this is what I would love everyone to do, then you go further and you add the intention. And then this is a whole new longer phase, which is really called the intention phase. And working with the three, awareness, perception, and intention, you then reconnect to your totality. What is your totality? What is the totality? Okay, I can say it is the true essence of your being, but it is also expressed in another manner. Everything that exists, a picture, painting, and ourselves, an animal, a mountain, everything that exists has a so-called assemblage point. And this assemblage point, as far as we are concerned, as human beings, is our totality. So, to reconnect with your totality, you first experience a series of rituals in this first phase, the dream reality, working mainly, not to say in brackets only, with awareness and perception. And then you continue and move on to the second phase, during which you work with intention. What do we do along that whole process? It is actually a huge transformation. Yes, I can say it is wisdom embodiment, and it is this. However, it is also a redefinition of your physical identity. So your body will experience a huge, sustainable transformation. You are then no longer the same. By the way, transformation within us is happening all the time. We are in permanent transformation. Thinking or believing that we are something fixed, this is what is making us ill. We are always moving. With some training, and it doesn't take that long, everyone has the ability to see the energy moving. Now I have this light in front of me. It's not the best condition, but nevertheless, if I look like this, I can see this field of energy always. When you sit, for example, outside, and these days I've done it so often because I love it, it brings you into a state of quiet mind. You sit down and you look at the top of the trees. With some exercise, you will see above the trees the whole field of energy. It just matters with your physical eye. By the way, speaking about about seeing. What is it? What is perception? Perception is the eyes of the spirit. What is awareness? Awareness is the presence of spirit within your body. Awareness is getting in relationship with everything which is surrounding you. So coming back to the tree, awareness, when you look at the tree, it's not only looking at it, but it is really seeing and entering into communication with the tree to get an answer. So getting back, connecting back, remembering about all this knowledge which is within your body is being again in a position to communicate with everything that surrounds us, with absolutely everything. With a mountain, with water, with a person sitting in New York while you are here. This is what I experience each time I, in brackets, this is why I say, accompany someone who has asked me to kind of put some light on a certain situation in her or his life. The person can be anywhere, the information will flow like this. So going back onto that path, reconnecting with our totality is bringing us back, remembering and then living, experiencing who we truly are as human beings. We are citizens of this earth. Like a bear, like an eagle, there is no more inner dialogue in this quiet mind. We are the one mind. What is surrounding us can be expressed in so many different manners. The one mind, the great vibration, the great field of infinite possibilities, or the quantum field, or the source. Many indigenous traditions speak about this field with the term the source, which I love. And I use many others too. So what are we as human beings? If we take this image, that this field, which is being filled with information, intelligence, and love, it is pure love. If we imagine that it is a great partition with billions and billions and billions of nodes, what are we? If we imagine that we are an instrument, it's a music instrument, and then we accord. I'm not sure if this word is correct in English. Accordé.
Mm-hmm.
If we harmonize again our body, this music instrument, so that it can play all these notes, then we are in perfect alignment, in perfect harmony, and everything which is there. In each time we need an information, we get it like this, working simply using these three elements: awareness, perception, and intention. Everything flows to us. So what am I also explaining here? The great inventors, the great scientists, the great musicians, the great painters, they had, and they still have this faculty. Sometimes it is being expressed, I am in a flow. It's a kind of similar state, but you can be in the flow like this. So for you and for everyone who are going to listen later down, to give an example, A concrete example how easy it is. And you mentioned it, Cordula, at the start. I have been this business person very much in the field, working with what is behind our or between our two ears, rational, objective, being a CFO, Chief Financial Officer. And you know what it is. Nevertheless, when someone contacts me, and I take a very concrete example of this young, beautiful person, a woman in her 40s, married with a little daughter, happily married, happily, or very happy, although happy as well in her profession. And she tells me, Simone, I don't know why. I have everything I wanted to have in my life. I am and still within me, in my body. I feel this deep, deep, deep sadness. And I cannot explain why. Can you do something? This was her question. I said, well, with energy, there is always something happening. So I connect myself. By now, it takes me less than 1 minute. And then I speak to this person. I will call her Judy. She was not present. I don't speak to her. I will speak to her, to Judy, like I am speaking to you now. Cordula. The information will come in the form of images, of words, and of feelings. It goes to my body. Sometimes my body is really shaking. So I will speak to her at that, let's say, personal level, one-to-one, Judith. But then I will also speak to her, let's say, totality or to sense. Don't ask me why. Most of the time I speak German when I do this kind of work. The information comes. They do come through the so-called crystal mind. So the first step is to be in the quiet mind. There is no inner dialogue anymore. Nothing disturbs my mind at all anymore. And then the information comes to you through the so-called crystal mind. They are absolutely pure information. There is no need of interpretation anymore at all. So this is happening when you work with awareness, perception, and intention. Working in brackets only with awareness and perception, you obtain visions. Then you need to interpret them. But when you add intention, there is no more need for interpretation because it is direct communication and it is pure, clear information. It is speaking about the crystal mind or through the clear mind. So along this process, you will also have understood you become or you communicate through clarity, wisdom, and knowledge. So coming back to Judy, what was happening? Well, we know now, and science has also demonstrated this, especially epigenetics, that in our life, we might be very much affected by the traumas of previous generations. This young person originates from East Europa, and in previous generations, the women, especially on the mother's side, had been abused, and you can imagine so many more things. All the information, abuse, not respected, violence, emotional, physical violence, and the like. And all this sadness pain had gone over. So when this information has come to me, I transform. Energy is always transformed. It is not released. It's transformed in, and I transform it into something beautiful again. So you see my hands, they move because when I do this work, my body moves, my hands move. It has nothing to do with my head. It is just wisdom guiding me. I get moved now. So I transform this. And then when my body gets quiet again, my hands start slowing down. My breathing is again, let's say, normal, because when I have to transform, it goes through the breathing. So I have to breathe out a lot. And most of the time we hear it. Sometimes also shouts come out. Sometimes it is so powerful that shouts come out. And then I get a sentence from the soul. The first time it came, I was so surprised because it was like this. It was in French, but it was like this. In English, it is like, and so be it. So I know it's done. The work is done. I don't add anything. So then I sit down and I will write everything, what happened, which information came, because then later down the road, I might forget. And then I call the person and I convey the information. To close the whole story, Cordula, I'd like to let you know that this wonderful person, Judith, is still in my life today, and I've seen her quite a few times after that. And each time she tells me, Simone, you transformed my life. You have healed me, because now I am definitely living the happy life I had always dreamed of living, and she's radiating. So this is one example. I could tell you so many stories similar to this, and this is happening once within your own body. You have reactivated all your power, all your beauty. So within our body, we have energy centers. Everybody knows this, but I am not referring now to the so-called 7 chakras. Although some of them are similar to those, especially the one which is on top of our head, the so-called crown chakra, but in shamanic language, we simply say energy center in front of, on top of your head, or this one, the energy center in your forehead, which is also called the all-seeing eye. It's not the third eye energy center, like it is being described in traditions from the East. So we have these energy centers within the body. Some are similar as the 7, some not. But we have also energy center outside our body. So along this whole path, I have described at the beginning, working with awareness and perception first, and entering the dreaming reality, and then later adding the intention and going the fast, the intention phase, pardon, not fast, it's a German phase. We reactivate all this energy center within and outside our body. First, we reactivate, and then we illuminate them. So and once they are illuminated, we can also communicate directly with all the light beings.
And that really explains in many ways, I guess, why especially women who are very successful and who are leaders, as a in a family, raising children in their jobs, or um, in whatever career aspects they are in. I guess if we, because we have not remembered, or many of us women do not remember who we really are, and yet we are delivering a lot. I mean, women are more strong and showing up than in many other. I wouldn't say more. I'm sure life was very complex always, but I think the complexity we are holding as women to be on all levels available for many different needs around us has become so pressureful that if we don't align to our real source and the roots, the real roots where we sustain and gain access to these energies you're speaking about, that would explain why so many of these women, especially in leadership, do suffer from burnout, anxiety attacks, inflammations, arthrosis, skin irritations. There's so many. If I look around, amazing woman, and yet there's deprivation in a certain way, right? There is not leadership from joy or leadership from abundance. There is leadership as, yes, I can, and yes, therefore I will. But it's like the engine never gets the right fuel to really run day for day in a sustain that is truly satisfying. And I think that is something that makes your course also so special, and your embodiment, because you come from this world of high class professionals, of women in executive responsibilities. And uh, I'm not at all in the feminism in that manner to say in a male orientated world, but what I mean is you have experienced a lot in your life what it means to use the right side of the brain and deliver in a very accurate and specific and professional way. And now you have come to be an embodiment of holding wisdom and accessing wisdom in that manner you describe now, and allow others to learn to remember and to dream. So a lot of that will be discussed and touched in your course. But for this day, I would really love to hear. Oh, I did. I think you spoke a lot about it, but just to make sure I understood it right. So it seems the real problem we have as women in this world at that point is not that we're not in leadership, but it's that we don't access the right energy, sustain, or balance, because we have simply forgotten where our origin lies, right? Or
Maybe.
other. We go in the gym. Just one more example. We go in the gym. We take the vitamins. We take the supplements. We know all about healthy food. We know everything about homeopathy. We do forest bathing. We meditate in the evening. We're doing all these things. When I say we, I mean the women of our modern times. But we don't remember. We don't dream. Would you agree on that?
Yes, I would certainly agree. I've been on that path for so many years myself, Cordula. And this is why also when uh, I provided you the description of the course Fearless Free Feminine, at the very top I added this quote by Oprah Winfrey, which is like this, and I quote, if you want to achieve the goals of your life, you have to start with spirit. And this is exactly what many of us women still, or have not done for many, many years and still don't do, as long as we do not go deep inside and reconnect with all this latent power which is given to us when we get born, but not developed along our educational path. we will continue struggling because we get in brackets stuck in this so-called 3D world. We only believe what is being proven scientifically. We completely neglect what is divine. We neglect that there are other powers which we can tap into within ourselves. And the path to do so is really go very, very deep inside, learning what we are, learning what is life. Yes, we can read many wonderful books, autobiographies, books about philosophy, which I have done and I still do, and I love it still. But the answer, they will not be all provided to you like this, because this is kind of believing something which has been written by most probably a genius mind as well. But this is not your own truth. As long as you have not experienced in your body what it means to be who you are not connected to the source. Where do we originate from? This is what we need to experience, and we experience it thanks to this ritual. Where do we originate from? We have the same source as the universe. The universe too has an assemblage point. This is our source. As long as we have not reconnected ourselves with this source, we do not have, I should not explain, say it like this. We cannot deploy everything which is within our being.
And the shaman way is specific. I mean, what you say, a lot of women might do by prayer or meditation or doing Zen retreats. But I think the shaman way is a specifically different or more complex one, or maybe an older one, as in the sense that we, it seems, profoundly embody and access nature in that path, right?
You know, Cordula, what I have partly explained until now about awareness, perception, and then intention, I've been also explaining or introducing a certain shamanic tradition which is not so well known on the earth. Why? There are reasons for it. It's extremely powerful. But this tradition is also one, or if not the oldest shamanic tradition on earth. It originates from the Paleolithic era. So it goes back to between 30 to 40,000 years. Yet, and I'd like to mention this as well, and this would be a whole complete, let's say, past, but within ourselves, we women, we are the goddesses who have preceded us from so ancient times. I'm so sorry that so far I've not found this book in English German language, but I turn my head and I look at this book, and the title is The Woman Drum. I say it in French on purpose. La femme tambour. It is being written by a musician. This woman, her name is Lane Redmond. This lady was playing the drum, and then so many things happened within her when she was playing the drum that she thought, I need to understand where this drum came from. And she went on a journey of 15 years. She traveled the world. She went back to so many places which were places where the women had their true power. And she speaks about all those goddesses. When I was reading that book, Cordula, sometimes I had tears. Because then, as a woman, you feel, you feel in your body what we have been deprived of or from. So yes, the shamanic path is a path. And so far, at least in my own life, this is the most powerful one I have experienced to come back, to reconnect with the true essence called totality. Yes, we can meditate, Cordula, but I can tell also from experience to be in a position to communicate directly again with everything surrounding you, to have all your power deployed, there is no need at all to meditate every day for 1 hour or more for so many years. This is something you can reactivate within your body.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Within a certain number of days, experiencing this very, very powerful. You can also call them guided meditations, but it is energy rituals. It is raising the energy frequencies of your body little by little, all the more. And it takes a certain time. Why? Because your body must learn to hold this very high energy frequency. So it is a process, but it doesn't take 10, 10, 20, 30 years of meditation. No, you achieve it so much faster. And what I can also say, I experienced this over a certain number of years. But today, there is a great expansion of the awareness, a great awakening happening. I observe it in younger people. I observe it in children. You can go much faster. And by the way I am now teaching, I go much faster than what I have experienced.
Mm-hmm.
And what I observe, what I experience with these groups, this is just pure beauty. And everyone tells me, Simone, it's just amazing. The information flow to me so much faster. And when I say this, I can refer to a certain group who has not yet experienced half of the path. So why are we women still struggling so much? We need to go inside to be strong outside. By the way, this is the similar path also for men.
But it's a different path, right? I mean, it's an ongoing. I mean, even someone asked me, why is this course? Why is it not for men? Why is it called Fearless Free Feminine? And so maybe you could say a couple of words to that, because I don't know, maybe some men would like to also do the course. And then also for the last couple of minutes we have, maybe you can also say something about why is the title Fearless Free Feminine, which implies that we are not yet fearless and free, the feminine, right? And what do you wish personally, Simone, for this year, for the Fearless Free Feminine how would it look like a world where this Fearless Free Feminine would be more embodied?
Thank you for this question, Cordula. How this title came to life. There are two steps. When I was speaking in front of an audience and I was speaking about this past, at the end I always had the urge of saying, and you become free, fearless and free, because this is what I feel in every cell of my body. And this is really what you become. This source is carrying us. It's everything is about trust, trust in life, everything which comes to you, life, also the most difficult, shaking, painful situations. They are all there for you to become a better person, for you to trust more. So really today, already since a couple of, not only a couple, since many years back, I can say I feel fearless and free. I am fearless and free. This system is sometimes really, yes. And nevertheless, I feel this. And then feminine. There are two aspects I'd like to mention here. When we, I have to say we because it was a common decision to add the third adjective, feminine. One aspect is, yes, with this feminine, we want to address ourselves to women indeed. This is to say that you can be fearless and free while you remain completely feminine with your feminine beauty, your feminine qualities and values, and you are very powerful. This is one aspect. The other aspect, which implies also to say, to be fearless and free and successful in business, you don't need to become, in brackets, a man. You remain in your full feminine beauty. I would even add, you keep your grace.
Mm-hmm.
And I started speaking of leadership of grace.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, leadership of grace is not only for women, it's for everyone. Because for me, under this expression, leadership of grace, we have equality, we have sustainability, we have beauty, we have inclusion, we have everything. But this expression, feminine, also addresses the feminine principle. The feminine principle being within each human being. So coming back to this part of your question, Cordula, is this course also for men? Of course. Because this course is above all about universal wisdom. Universal wisdom which has always been on our planet, which is within us all. And if we want to achieve equality, first we need equality within ourselves, which means having male and female principles at the same level. In each shamanic tradition, there is a ritual which is called the arrow ritual. It also says that one man and one woman hold the earth to achieve equality and then peace on our planet. It starts here. Each man and woman needs to have both feminine and male principles equally in her, in his body. While or when this is achieved, we can achieve equality. So yes, definitively, this course is also for men, and I would be so delighted. Should many, many men also enroll, because we need everyone. I hope I have answered your question. And my
Wonderful.
wish for women is that we do shine
That we
with
shine.
all our beauty and power. I wish to be able to see that so many women have, let's say, also it needs a certain courage, the courage to go on that path, because it is shaking, it is transformation. But when I see the faces of the people experiencing this, and also what they tell me, wow, what a blessing. I'd like to end with this, Cordon. Allow me just 2 more minutes. I've started teaching in Luxembourg. In this group, I have a man.
Mm-hmm.
The first time he experienced me, that was in September. In his whole life, he had never seen an owl. The day before starting the first seminar with me, he heard the owl. In December, we had the second seminar. In between, nothing happened. No owl. In December, we had the second. What happened in the night before? He then saw and heard the uhu second time. Third time, it was not a seminar, but I had decided to send a postcard for the series greeting to all participants. What happened? The day before he received, or the night, before he received my postcard, early in the morning, he saw again out in between nothing. So what do I want to say with this little story? There's only one example. Magic happens. All the more and more and more. And I cannot tell you how grateful I am. So I wish to see so many shining faces of women and men. So many, so many, so many millions of them. That's my wish and my vision. Thank you so much, God.
Thank you. All the informations about your upcoming course you can read in the little side text and also on Parallax website. And we're really, really happy, Simone. And I think we're going to have a second round of this talk, maybe in between the course, and just see how everything has been going and how is the year developing. And it was just a pure pleasure and blessing also to start this year with your beautiful energy, sharing and communion. So we will start in February, and I hope we can really enjoy this time together and hear and learn more. Thank you so much for being.
Thank you to you, Cordula, and to Parallax and your colleague.
Thank you. I will stop the recording now.